Rian had only meant to take a short walk, just a quick break from repairing the colony's endlessly malfunctioning water filters. But the universe had other plans. It usually did. He liked to think he had a talent for stumbling into trouble, although he preferred the kind that involved loose screws and suspiciously leaky pipes, not fiery craters and crashed alien escape pods hissing like angry kettles. The forest clearing smelled of ozone and burnt metal. A thin column of smoke curled into the evening sky, and shards of unfamiliar alloy glittered in the grass like scattered starlight. Rian swallowed, took a cautious step forward, and immediately tripped over nothing at all. He caught himself with a noise that definitely didn't resemble a squeak. "Great," he muttered. "If something dangerous lives in there, it already knows I'm clumsy." He approached the cracked pod. Its hull pulsed faintly with blue energy veins, technology far beyond anything the colony had, unless someone had secretly upgraded their tractors into starships. A panel slid open with a weak hiss, and inside, slumped against the seat restraints, was a woman. At least, mostly a woman. Her features were human enough. Smooth skin, silver-flecked hair tangled from the crash, a lean form wrapped in torn metallic fabric. But the ears, long, tapered, and elegant, rising like soft curves of polished stone, twitching faintly with each shallow breath. And faint freckles shimmered across her cheeks, glowing in a rhythm he desperately hoped wasn't her countdown to explode mode. Rian panicked for a full second, then forced himself to breathe. She was injured, really injured. Whatever species she was, she needed help now, not a human staring like he'd just discovered a mythical creature wearing futuristic pajamas. He edged closer. Hello, can you hear me? Please don't vaporize me if you wake up confused." Her eyelids fluttered open. Brilliant violet eyes focused on him, then narrowed. "You are loud," she murmured, voice soft but undeniably unimpressed. "Well, good news," Rian said. "I can be quiet sometimes. Rarely, but I can try." She attempted to push herself up, winced sharply, and collapsed again. Rian reached out instinctively, and she grabbed his wrist with surprising strength for someone who had crash-landed from the heavens. Her ears flicked back in irritation. "Where am I?" "Safe," he said, hoping confidence counted even when you didn't fully know if it was true. Or, well, safer than inside a broken alien microwave. Her eyes scanned the pod, then the forest. Confusion mixed with alarm. "They followed me." Rian straightened. "Who? Are they the kind of people who knock politely, or more the blast everything and ask later type?" She didn't answer. Her grip loosened as exhaustion pulled her under. Rian steadied her, whispering, "It's okay, I got you." Carrying her out of the pod was less dramatic than he imagined. Or rather, it could have been dramatic if he didn't immediately stumble over a root and almost drop her. He recovered with a frantic spin that would have impressed any acrobat or terrified them. "Still alive," he told her unconscious form. "We're calling that a win." By the time he reached his small workshop near the colony edge, sweat matted his hair and his arms shook from effort. He set her carefully on his emergency cot, which he kept for situations exactly like this, by which he meant never, not once in his life. The workshop's lights flickered on, illuminating shelves cluttered with tools, spare parts, and the half-assembled robot he swore would work someday. Maybe, probably not. He grabbed the med scanner, praying it wouldn't beep in a tone that meant imminent alien explosion. It scanned her silently. Rian stared at the display, which showed readings he couldn't interpret. "Well, that's either very good or very, very bad," he muttered. She stirred at the sound of his voice, ears rising slightly. "You saved me," she whispered. He shrugged awkwardly. "You were kind of hard to miss." Fiery crash, screaming metal, the whole dramatic entrance. "If you just sent a polite message, I still would have helped. But I admit this was memorable." Her lips twitched, the tiniest hint of a smile before she grimaced from pain. "I did not intend to crash." "No one usually does," Rian said. "Except my cousin Jerk, but he runs hovercycles into trees on purpose, so he doesn't count." A soft, almost reluctant breath escaped her. A laugh, just barely. It made her freckles pulse with warm light that reflected off his tools. "I am Elira," she said. "Rian," he replied, "resident fixer of things and occasional tripper-over of everything." Elira's gaze drifted around the room, lingering on his clutter. "You live like this on purpose." "It's a system," he insisted. "A very advanced system. Only I understand it, which makes me either a genius or a disaster." Her eyes softened with amusement before darkening again. "They will come for me." Rian froze. "Right, them, the mysterious they. Are we talking space pirates, galactic tax collectors, angry ex-boyfriends?" She didn't answer, but the tension in her body said enough. Rian pulled a blanket over her and tried to sound brave. "Well, whoever they are, they'll have to go through me." Her ears twitched skeptically. "You are small." "Rude," he said, but grinned. "Lucky for you, I make up for it with personality." Outside, a faint metallic hum drifted through the trees, the kind of noise no earth-born creature could make. Elira's eyes widened. Rian checked the window and swallowed hard. "Okay, so just out of curiosity, how mad would you be if I said we might possibly be in danger already?" Elira closed her eyes, breathing slowly. "Stay close. And do not let them find me." Rian nodded, adrenaline rushing through him despite his attempt to smile. "Well, if it makes you feel better, I'm really good at hiding." And as the strange lights swept the forest, he realized that whatever path he just stepped onto, there was no turning back now. Rian hadn't expected his day to include crouching beneath his workshop window while mysterious aerial drones hummed overhead. He wasn't even sure they were drones. They were too quiet, too smooth, too judgmental sounding. Machines shouldn't sound judgmental, but these definitely did. Elira sat upright on the cot, gripping the edge with tense fingers. Her long ears were angled sharply, twitching with every faint vibration from outside. The freckles along her cheeks glimmered in anxious pulses. "They are searching for my resonance signature," she whispered. Rian blinked. "I don't know what that is, but I'm going to assume it's not something I can turn off with a switch." "It is not a switch," she said dryly. "It is part of me." "Right, so no switch." A beam of pale light scanned the workshop roof, casting shifting shadows across the clutter. Rian yelped and ducked lower. Elira tugged him beside her. "Be still," she warned. He nodded rapidly, then immediately whispered, "Are they dangerous?" "Yes. Violently dangerous or mildly unpleasant dangerous." "Is there a difference?" Rian considered this. "One leaves bruises, the other leaves emotional scars." Elira stared at him like she was reconsidering her choice to let him rescue her. A faint hum deepened outside and she drew in a breath. "We have little time. If they detect me, they will not stop." "Okay," Rian inhaled. "Then let's stay undetected, very undetected, maximum undetected." He crept to the back of the workshop and opened a panel in the floor. His emergency maintenance hatch, which he absolutely did not install for hiding from galactic pursuers, but it seemed handy now. Elira raised an eyebrow as he gestured to the hole. "This is your plan." "Hey, it's structurally questionable but emotionally comforting." She hesitated only a second before following him down the ladder. The hatch closed above them, plunging the narrow maintenance tunnel into dim, flickering light. Pipes ran along the ceiling like tangled metallic vines, and the air smelled faintly of coolant and oil, Rian's second home. Elira looked around with a mix of curiosity and horror. "You live above this." "Technically beside it," he corrected, "and sometimes in it, depends on the job." Rian led her through the tunnels until the hum of airborne scanners softened. Only then did she relax slightly, lowering her guard, but not completely. He noticed how her ears shifted, tracking every drip and echo. He stopped at a junction where a glowing emergency lantern illuminated them in amber light. "We should be safe for now," he said. "Mostly, probably, 90%. What about the other 10%? I like to leave room for mystery." Her expression softened despite the tension. "You are unusual." "Thank you," he said proudly. It was not a compliment. "Still taking it." She exhaled, leaning against the wall. For a moment her luminous freckles dimmed, then slowly brightened again. He watched the pattern, fascinated. "Is that normal?" he blurted before he could stop himself. "The glowing." "It indicates stress," she replied. "Oh, good, because I thought maybe you were overheating or charging or about to explode." She gave him a look so sharp it nearly cut the air. "I do not explode." "Good, because that would really complicate our friendship." Her ears twitched. "We are friends." He froze. Are we not? I mean, you can pick a different word if you want. Acquaintances, emergency allies. Two people surprisingly good at mutual running." Elira's lips curved very slightly. "Friends is acceptable." The word warmed him more than the lantern did. A distant rumble vibrated the pipes. Rian's smile faded. Okay, that was either thunder or a very dramatic stomach. Elira straightened. "The Dominion's ground sweepers." He grimaced. "So not thunder." "They will search the colony next," she said quietly. "Because of me." "Well," Rian said, forcing a reassuring tone, "we can warn people, move them inside, maybe pretend there's a gas leak. I'm good at pretending things are gas leaks. You should not endanger your people for me." He frowned. "Elira, you crash-landed on my forest, got hunted by space tyrants, and are currently glowing like anxiety fireworks. Helping you is the least I can do." She studied him, ears softening. "Most would not choose this risk. Most don't trip into a crater and meet someone with long ears and glowing freckles. Life's full of surprises." Her gaze shifted downward as if she were hiding something deeper, but before she could speak, the tunnel lights flickered violently. A small projector on her wrist, one he hadn't noticed before, activated with a soft chiming tone, displaying a floating hologram of encrypted alien text. Rian leaned closer. "Ooh, fancy." "It is data from my escape pod," she murmured. "I must access it." "Can I help?" "You would not understand the language." "Well, maybe not, but I'm great at pressing buttons and pretending I know what I'm doing." She hesitated. "Very well." Together they studied the shifting symbols. Elira's fingers moved across the projection, her expression tightening, ears slowly angling backward. Rian didn't need translation to know the information wasn't good. Finally she whispered, "The Dominion wants my resonance ability. They plan to weaponize it." Rian swallowed. "Weaponize, as in boom, weaponize, or mind control, weaponize?" "Both." "Oh great, wonderful, love that for us." Her eyes glimmered with quiet fear. "I escaped because I learned the truth. If they capture me again." "They won't," Rian said firmly. "We're going to keep you safe, and we're going to figure out how to stop them." Elira blinked, surprised by his certainty. "You speak as though you believe you can." "I don't know how yet," he admitted, "but I've fixed broken machines my whole life. Figuring things out is what I do. With enough tools and enough stubbornness, anything's possible." She stared at him for a long moment. Then softly, "I am glad it was you who found me." Before he could answer, a sharp alarm blared through the tunnel, one of Rian's sensors detecting movement above ground. Elira tensed. "They are here." Rian grabbed her hand. "Then let's make sure they don't stay." Rian had never considered himself heroic. He was good at tightening bolts, fixing faulty coolant pumps, and pretending he didn't hear his supervisor complain about that overly enthusiastic repair boy. But now, as he and Elira emerged from the maintenance tunnels into the dim forest night, with Dominion scouts combing the colony behind them, he realized he wasn't the same man who had stumbled over a tree root and crashed into her life. His hands were shaking, yes, but he didn't freeze. He moved. Elira kept close, her long ears angled in all directions, glowing freckles pulsing softly. "The transmitter is beyond the ridge," she whispered. "If we activate it, the Dominion's plans will be exposed. Their council cannot ignore the evidence." "Great," Rian said, adjusting his backpack. "So our mission is simple. Avoid capture, avoid death, press a button." "I can handle pressing a button. I've trained for years." "You cannot joke your way through everything," she said, though he caught the tiny quiver of amusement in her voice. "Actually, I can. It's a survival tactic, highly advanced. A beam of cold white light swept across the sky, grazing the treetops. Elira pulled him behind a boulder, and a Dominion scout ship drifted overhead, sleek metal, triangular wings, engines humming with a calm menace that felt almost bored. Rian peeked up and whispered, "They look like they skipped personality training. You should not antagonize them in your mind." Too late. They moved again, carefully weaving between towering trees. The air shimmered faintly with particles left behind by Elira's resonance, and Rian felt the gentle static of it brushing his skin. She had explained that her energy sensed emotional states, quite the unfortunate talent to have around a man who never stopped panicking. Halfway up the ridge, Elira stumbled. Rian caught her, steadying her against his chest. "Too fast?" he asked. "I am fine," she insisted. Her freckles, however, flickered in a pattern he recognized as not fine. He cupped her shoulder gently. "Elira, you're exhausted. You've been running since you crashed. Literally, let me help." She looked up at him, eyes reflecting both fatigue and something softer. "You have helped more than I expected, more than I deserved." "Hey," he said, nudging her lightly with an elbow. "No talking like that. You're not some kind of cosmic burden." She blinked. Cosmic burden. It sounded poetic. Her ears twitched in that way that meant she was trying not to smile. She leaned on him as they continued upward. Near the ridge's summit, Dominion soldiers emerged from the shadows, gleaming armor lit with cold blue symbols. Rian froze. Elira tensed to run, but he grabbed her hand. "No, this way." He dragged her toward an old air processing tower, one he'd repaired and accidentally set on fire last year, though that detail felt irrelevant now. They squeezed inside through a maintenance door as the soldiers' footsteps neared. The tower was dark, dusty, and echoed every movement. Elira pressed close to him. "If they find us." "Then I'll do what I do best," Rian said. "What is that?" "Improvise badly." Footsteps approached. A flashlight beam cut through the slats. Elira's breathing quickened. Rian squeezed her hand gently, a wordless reassurance. Then the soldiers passed. Elira let out a long, trembling breath. "Your luck is improbable." "Yeah. My mother says the universe keeps me around for entertainment." They slipped out the tower's back exit, only a little farther to the transmitter. Rian could see its silhouette now, a tall, slender spire rising from the rocky hillside, abandoned but still functional. He turned to Elira, "Ready." "Not entirely," she admitted, "but ready enough." They climbed the final stretch. A distant explosion rattled the trees, Dominion forces sweeping wider. Time was short. Elira reached the transmitter console, her fingers gliding over alien controls with practiced ease. Rian stood beside her, scanning the darkness for movement. "It needs a stabilizing input," she murmured. "My resonance must interface with it." "Does that hurt?" "Only if uncontrolled." "Well," Rian said, stepping closer, "then let's keep it controlled." He touched her shoulder gently. Her freckles flared bright, and she inhaled sharply. "Rian, your presence." "What, is it bad?" "No," she whispered, "it is steadying." She placed her hands on the console. Energy flowed from her in shimmering ribbons. The transmitter awakened, lights sparking across its surface. Elira's power rose in waves, each pulse vibrating through the ground. Dominion soldiers appeared at the base of the ridge, shouting commands. Elira, they look mad." "Almost done." A blast fired, hitting a nearby rock. Rian flinched. Any time now would be. The transmitter erupted in a beam of radiant light, shooting into the sky. Elira cried out as her resonance surged uncontrolled. Rian caught her, wrapping his arms around her, grounding her energy with his presence. The shockwave burst outward, a sweeping arc of golden force. It struck the Dominion soldiers, disabling their weapons, their armor, their ships. The ridge fell silent except for the soft hum of the transmitter's completed message streaming off-world. Elira sagged in his arms, trembling. "I did not mean to release so much." "You saved us," he whispered. "On purpose or by cosmic accident, I'll take it." She looked up at him, eyes glowing faintly. Rian, I feared myself. My power, but with you, it does not consume me. Well, he said softly, brushing a strand of silver hair from her face, maybe that's what friends do, or more than friends if you want. Her ears lifted in a startled but hopeful arc. More would be acceptable. He laughed quietly, pulling her close. Good, because I think I fell for you somewhere between the crash crater and the hiding from impossible drones part. You are ridiculous, she murmured, and you love it. Her freckles brightened in a warm, radiant glow. The Dominion threat had been exposed. The transmitter's message would reach the Council. The colony would be safe again. And Rian, once just a clumsy mechanic, now stood taller, not because he'd changed into someone else, but because Alira had revealed who he could be. He threaded his fingers through hers as they walked back toward the lights of the colony, the night quiet at last. Their steps were slow, unhurried. For the first time, there was no danger behind them, only the beginning of something new ahead. Alira glanced at him, ears softly angled. Rian, thank you. Any time, he said. Just promise next time you visit my planet, you try landing with a little less fire. I can make no such promise. He grinned, good. Then I guess we'll make this adventure a habit. And under the quiet stars, they continued forward, two worlds no longer distant but walking side by side.